Welcome to the VIDE Department of Education's 2020-2021 Parent and Community Educational Conference. Research has shown that parental involvement is a key factor in student achievement and students' overall success in life. It is also known to be true that parents tend to participate more in their child's education when they know how and when they feel knowledgeable and equipped with the tools to do so. With this in mind, the VI Department of Education has provided professional development for parents over the years, and we are pleased to continue providing this important and necessary support. What's new at the department, however, is the professional development we are providing for the VI community. This change is due to the fact that successful school systems have strong, positive, and consistent community support. And with this goal of rebuilding the community's trust in the Virgin Islands public education system, I am delighted to bring this educational conference to you. Your participation in today's conference will help to transform our public education system. I look forward to hearing about your experience today and the areas of the VI public education system you would like to learn more about. Remember, together we can transform public education in the Virgin Islands. Enjoy today's session.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kadila Joseph. I'm the Territorial Director of Procurement here at the Virgin Islands Department of Education. Welcome back for those of you who joined our session, our part one session, which discussed pretty much how to register or how to conduct business with the government of the Virgin Islands, how to become a vendor, with the government of the Virgin Islands Department of Education. This second session, or part two of our session, will pretty much explore how to find and submit bids and/or proposals for the departments or in response to the department's request for proposal or IFBs or invitation for bid for the purchase of necessary goods and/or services. So welcome again, and we hope that this information will be enjoyable, not only enjoyable, but informational to you as we work together to meet the needs of our Virgin Islanders, of our community, our stakeholders, our most important stakeholders, the students of the Virgin Islands. Okay, let's get started. Okay, part two, we're jumping straight to part two. All right. Well, first and foremost, a number of you are familiar with if you're considering doing business with the VI. A number of you should be familiar with the Department of Property and Procurement's role in acquiring goods and services or being the government's contracting arm. As discussed in part one, the Department of Education Division of Procurement is not an independent division or of the Department of Ed, but it also is a subsidiary to some extent of the Department of Property and Procurement. While the majority or all other government agencies has a small purchase authority of, I think right now it's $5,000. The Department of Education has a purchase authority of $250,000.00. I find it very informational or important for you to know as a vendor the regulations pertaining to the Department of Education's purchase authority in comparison to that of the government of the Virgin Islands Department of Property and Procurement, who oversees all of the user agencies' acquisition and contracting processes. Okay, pursuant to Title 31 VIC, Chapter 23, the Commissioner of Property and Procurement and the Department of Property and Procurement shall purchase and contract for all supplies, materials, equipment, and contractual services in a manner described in that particular chapter. For those of you who are familiar with the law, can view the legislation or view the law on LexisNexis, or simply type in the annotation 31 VIC section 232 subsection 1. Okay. Section 236 of the code allows or states that the Department of Property and Procurement shall be responsible for contracting supplies and/or services whose costs or estimated costs is not to exceed $50,000. Okay, so it gives the regulation whose costs exceed 50,000. It pretty much describes the regulations surrounding formal solicitation and the competitive bidding process and the advertisement process or method. Okay, you want to know how to bid or how to respond to a bid, note that the process starts at the Department of Property and Procurement. Okay. The VIDE's Small Purchase Authority is noted, next slide, in Title 17, VIC, Section 60D. This legislation was amended, I think in December of 2019 or January of 2020. And it pretty much increased the department's purchasing authority from $50,000 to $250,000, $250,000.00. In this, the Department of Property and the Department of Education through procurement will be responsible for overseeing and or soliciting bids, overseeing the competitive bidding process. We will make a selection of our vendors following the rules and regulations prescribed by law, the procurement rules and regulations as prescribed by law. And in this, the Commissioner of Property and the Commissioner of Education, Commissioner of Education, Racquel Berry-Benjamin, will have the authority to purchase or has the authority to bind the department into contractual agreement, whether it's for the purchase of goods and or services. So in this case, the Department of Education will not need the approval of the Commissioner of Property and Procurement. Okay. And that regulation section A speaks to subsection A speaks to professional services and or the purchase of goods. The Department of Education may also contract for or solicit through a competitive bidding process, IFBs and or RFPs, IFBs, for the acquisition of construction services, notwithstanding the price does not, or the total purchase price and all amendments does not exceed $50,000.00. Any project that we estimate or budget to exceed $50,000 or even $45,000 has to be solicited in accordance to the rules and regulations prescribed in or described in 31 VIC section 236 by the Department of Property and Procurement. Okay. Section C was recently added, and it allows for schools and principals to bind or to acquire goods and services using a separate pool of funding, acquire goods and services from a reputable vendor and or contractor, so long as that price does not exceed $50,000. So the schools may contract and however, they must follow the procurement rules and regs. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, what type of services? So you ask yourself, what type of services does the department need? Or what type of items or commodities are usually on our list of our long Christmas list of needs? Examples, prime examples, you know for sure, are textbooks, computer equipment. A number of you, I'm pretty sure the entire community have heard of the department's need for computer and technology equipment, as we are forced to evolve even more so, forced to utilize technology in this during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, where virtual instruction and administrative work and processes are usually carried out virtually. We purchase cleaning supplies and equipment, your Pine Sol, your Clorox, your mop heads, your garbage liners, down to paint, and office, most importantly, office and school supplies, paper, pens, desks, chairs, back to computer equipment, Promethean boards, etc. The list goes on and on as our needs. While the general scope remains the same, we all, there will be a time where, you know, our needs change. We want this type of folder, we want this type of pen, we want this size thumbtack, we want this specification of computer equipment, etc. Our services include maintenance and construction services. This goes from our small maintenance project, which may entail painting of walls, installing a fan, or our large construction projects, which will require a whole roof resurfacing, $300,000-$400,000 worth of AC duct drawing, replacement, and repair. The list can go on and on. AC repair services and maintenance, filters, etc., changing of thermostats, whatever the case may be. Professional development training to our teachers, administrators, even our administrative staff. Online subscriptions and licenses for our library systems, our credit recovery services, down to our copier maintenance and so forth, and janitorial and landscaping services, both of which are needed for the aesthetic and the safety of our schools and our students. Okay, just to give you a little heads up of the type of services the Department of Education will contract for. Once the department has determined a need, next slide. Once the department has determined a need for either of the aforementioned commodities and or services, we will solicit an invitation for bid or a request for proposal. Okay, so our requests for proposals are usually, or in most cases, are usually requesting services. Okay, a request for proposal differ in the invitation for bid, as once a response is received from a vendor, we or both parties will have the opportunity to negotiate the services and or costs, etc., within that contractor's proposals to best fit the need of the department. In an invitation for bid, invitation for bids are solicited for the purchase of goods and or services that are quantifiable. We need grass cutting services, landscaping services to be conducted once a month for 12 months over the term of a year or 2 years at a set cost of $1 per cut or $1 per service. So invitation for bids are solicited when we are seeking to purchase goods and or services that are quantifiable. This method of solicitation is non-negotiable and it's usually based on cost. It's usually based on cost, where the department or the Department of Property and Procurement, whoever the head agency is, will make an award to the most responsive vendor, being responsible, the lowest cost, responsive, meeting the needs or addressing or accurately responding to the IFB once solicited. Requests for proposals are, again, negotiable. Our main qualities or the qualifications that we look at when selecting a vendor is their experience or their knowledge within the area, within the area of service that we're seeking. How long have they been in business? How many or where have they provided similar services? Has it been on the scale or the magnitude that the department is seeking? Are they qualified? Earlier I discussed or stated in part 1 that a vendor must have a business license. However, that vendor must have a business license, a business license within that specific area or that specific area of expertise. Are they qualified to provide these types of services? We're not going to select a construction contractor, although they're licensed, to provide professional development training on how to adequately or best approaches towards teaching or meeting instructional needs in our students. That's 2 different types of services. So are they qualified to do? We look at their a vendor or prospective bidders qualification, contractors qualifications. Also, when reviewing the request for proposal, we would like to see, or we rate the contractor's responses heavily on their technical approach. How well, or what is their approach to providing these services? Is it mediocre based on how they presented their approach? Have they responded to the needs? We said we wanted a vendor to come in and paint the walls. We'd like to see, how would you, as simple as it may seem, how would you go about painting those walls? How would you go about painting those walls? What type of paint will you be providing? What type of equipment will you be utilizing to reach a 60-foot building? We can, just simple stuff like that. Simple stuff, it may seem simple, but it's very important to us. And of course, cost. Cost is also an important factor, and it is a negotiable factor. Okay. All right. So again, once a department has a need for specific services and or goods, then the department will issue a request for proposal or invitation for bid. Those solicitations are advertised. They must be advertised, because how else would a vendor know what services a department is in need of? So advertisement is our next slide. We will touch on where our solicitations are advertised. Pursuant to Section 236 of Title 31 of the VIDE Code, all requests, and in this case, the Department of Education, whose total contract or purchase price may exceed $250,000, okay, notwithstanding another area of the code, must undergo formal solicitation by the Department of Property and Procurement. Okay, so all of our larger projects, so long as there are no exemptions that may be applicable to the purchase, must be solicited by the Department of Property and Procurement and authorized by the Commissioner of Property and Procurement. So a solicitation is prepared, and most of you have seen or may have seen that they are posted within a newspaper of general circulation by law. At this point, at this juncture, they must be advertised via a newspaper of general circulation in each, in the respective district. So in the St. Croix district, you will see most of the, or all, I should say, excuse me, all of the department's solicitations advertised in the St. Croix Avis. For St. Thomas and or territorial wide projects, whether we're requesting goods and or services, you will see those solicitations advertised in the Virgin Islands Daily News. The Department of Property and Procurement also advertises its solicitations via the web, online newspaper, the VIDE source. Okay, so the ads are in the St. Croix Avis, the Virgin Islands Daily News, and the VIDE source. Internally, as we are moving towards a more technologically advanced age, and we would like to spread our wings to attract vendors from abroad, vendors who vendors in our territory who may not or do not purchase the newspaper regularly. The Department of Property and Procurement also solicits its IFBs and RFPs via its website. Ms. Mitchell, if you can, let's try clicking on that link. It should take us to Property and Procurement's website. No? There we go. All right. Again, here we are at if an ad is being solicited by, or if an RFP or IFB is being solicited by the Department of Property and Procurement, it will be advertised here. I shared the direct link. If you scroll down, you will see all of the department's advertisements, the government's advertisements listed here. Look at there, right to the top of the list, Department of Education, roof and wall repair services at the St. Croix Central High School. Again, this IFB was posted here as the total contract price is expected to exceed, in this case, it's a construction contract, it's expected to exceed $50,000. We also have another RFP 003, which provides for or is requesting wide area network and internet services. This RFP intends to provide internet services to all our schools and activity centers in both school districts. It's posted here, and this definitely will exceed, this total contract price will definitely exceed $250,000. So again, let me iterate. If the total contract price for construction services are expected to exceed $50,000, then your eyes and your ears must be glued to the newspaper and or Department of Property and Procurement's website, procurement advertisements. If the contract price is expected to exceed $250,000, and this is for the purchase of services of any kind, professional services of any kind, then that too will be posted on the VIDE's, on the Department of Property and Procurement's website. I cannot speak to or will not speak too heavily into what's required or what should be submitted for when responding to IFBs or RFPs. My only sound advice to you, to prospective bidders, is to be guided by the instructions listed in the IFB or the RFP. All are different. Please be guided by the instructions described in the IFB. Let's click on IFB 007. Okay. You can register on Property and Procurement's website if you want to receive updates or any notifications regarding an IFB that you may be interested in. Or you can simply, it's open to the public, view the website and respond to bids accordingly. Either which way, you will be well informed or have an up-to-date or accurate information regarding the status of the IFB. The IFB or RFP instructions are listed under the document side on the right side of the screen. It gives you the IFB, the listing of supporting documents. It gives you the template. It tells you everything that you will need to provide a responsive bid. Okay, a responsive bid. Okay, take note of the due date. Wednesday, 12/16, that was yesterday, right? This contract or this project would have, the solicitation period would have closed yesterday at 10 a.m. If you wanted to do a site visit, again, all of that information will be on the website. It will tell you when that site visit will take place. If for any reason the solicitation period was extended, it would have been vendors or prospective vendors would have been made aware via an addendum or an amendment to the IFB. If you scroll down, you will see a number of amendments to the IFB in the bottom left, and you are to make note of the amendments, the posted amendments, as they hold valuable information towards providing a responsive and responsible bid. Okay, again, I will not go into detail as to what all are required to provide a responsive bid or proposal, as the information or the direction towards your providing a responsible bid is listed here on Property and Procurement's website. So the items again are advertised in the newspaper, general circulation, and on Property and Procurement's website. However, all of the information that you need towards any changes in the IFB, whether it's an extension of the period, where it's an additional scope of work, everything will be here on Property and Procurement's website. And in any event, you must acknowledge those addendums. Just be guided by the IFB instructions. And I can't say how important that is. Some have asked, oh, where, well, I submitted my application at 10:05. Would it be considered? In most cases, no. In most cases, no. However, it is up to the Department of Property and Procurement to determine if they will or will not accept that that proposal. Circumstances may differ. Okay, let's go back to this slide. Okay. All right. So for advertisements, one thing I do know for sure is that during this time of the pandemic, your responses should be emailed, but be guided by the instructions provided in your IFB. Your responsive, your comprehensive packet should be emailed to the address noted below, ebids_proposals@dpp.via.gov. The department's advertising mechanism or area is much smaller. We advertise our projects on our website, vide.vi. It's on the main page of the VIDE's website, Mr. Mitchell. If you will just click there, okay, it will lead you to the VIDE's homepage. And right to the top left corner, you see Office 365, our events, school calendars, and then there it is, projects. You click on projects, right? If you're going straight to VIDE's website, if you're utilizing this link, of course, we're already here. And the VIDE's projects will be posted here. Okay. We have to work a little bit more on our formatting. That is a task for 2021. And that is a task for 2021, but they will be posted here. They're a bit old. These are old and they will be removed, but all of our projects will be posted here. Particularly if those projects exceed our $50,000 a $50,000 threshold. Another form of advertisement, and this is not quote unquote formal, in which is a formal advertisement away to the public, etc., is through, hey, word of mouth. You may be contacted, you could go back to the slide. You may be contacted by members of the superintendent's office, the office of the commissioner, members of the VIDE's operational team, those who are seeking bids and for smaller projects whose cost is less than 50,000, less than 5,000. They may prepare a simple scope of work or a simple IFB and say, hi, please provide me a bid or a quote for the purchase of 5 boxes of masks and alcohol and etc. And etc. That's perfectly fine. Proceed to provide them those bids. So you have formal and informal solicitation. What I showed you just now is our formal competitive bidding screen or formal competitive bidding process. Again, you will find those advertisements posted there. If they are informal and there are small projects, a little $500 here, $1,000 there, more than likely in most cases, you may hear from a member directly from the VIDE's operational team, superintendent, commissioner's office, and most definitely my office. Okay. Like property and procurements, like all RFPs and IFBs, mine is the VIDE's RFPs and IFBs are no different. Please be guided by the instructions listed there within the RFP. If the solicitation is due to close today at 5 o'clock, then I kindly urge and encourage you to provide it by 4:30. Okay. All right. So the advertisement process is the first step towards doing business and or finding jobs, quote unquote, with the Department of Education. Now you have found the job, you have received a response from the Department of Education, Division of Procurement, or operational team or office of the superintendent, whichever area, telling you that, sir, ma'am, your corporation or your entity has been selected or awarded to provide these services. Please await receipt of a purchase order. More than likely, they will never tell you await a purchase order. As with anywhere in the government, not only the Department of Education, everything is urgent. We need these services now. We need these items now. Yes, it is urgent, and we at the Department of Education understand the sense of urgency and what urgency means. However, I want to heavily advise all of our potential bidders, all of our contractors, all of our vendors, that services are considered binding upon receipt, or the business transaction is considered binding upon receipt of an executed purchase order, in addition to an executed contract. Your purchase order in any event is an agreement, and it will serve as a contract, okay? It is an agreement and serves as a contract and binding both the VIDE, the government of the Virgin Islands, and the contractor towards a specific obligation. Our goods, if purchased through the vendor, should be delivered within 45 days upon receipt of a purchase order. Our services, a timeline and the full extent of the deliverables, the tasks, etc. Of a professional service agreement will be captured in of course, a contract, a professional service contract issued by the GVI, okay, Department of Education. Once a contract is received and a purchase order is received, then the contractor may proceed to provide those services. Okay, next slide. Okay, purchase orders are necessary. Purchase orders are required before any service can be rendered or should be rendered by a contractor. The Department of Education is no different from any department within the government of the Virgin Islands, stateside governments, and or the federal government, wherein we are not or have been blamed for untimely payment to its vendors. We are no stranger, but in the last, I would say 3 years, we have made important strides and made it our duty to clean up our past bills and make sure that we follow the procurement rules and regs and all others and all other regulations to ensure that our vendors are paid timely. Okay. Purchase orders, if you notice section or chapter VIC 31, section 234, I'm sorry, is by law, no purchase shall be made by any department or agency of the government or by any employee of the government for any agency of the government except by written order approved by the Commissioner of Property and Procurement. Okay, so if you do not receive a purchase order, then the program's word is not a promissory note. Oh, I'm gonna get you paid, I'm gonna get you paid, I'm gonna get you paid. You have to stress, okay, some vendors will say, you know what, I'll do good for you. I understand the process takes a little longer. And I understand your needs. Some vendors are pretty hospitable to that approach. But I would like to stress that you should receive a purchase order immediately following the work that you have done. Because we understand that there are exigent or urgent circumstances that may threaten the health or safety of our constituents, particularly our students and our teachers, and their needs must be addressed most urgently. However, follow up with that program person, even if it's the office of the commissioner, it could be my office, stating that, hey, I need a purchase order. I am ready to bill. Without a purchase order, we will, on the department, the government of the Virgin Islands, will be unable to issue payment and issue timely payment at that. Okay? And issue timely payment at that. Okay? So this concludes part 2 of how to find bids or how to do jobs or find jobs with the Department of Education. At this time, I would like to ask if you have any questions. Feel free to do, ask any questions that you may have, anything that's lingering in the back of your mind, anything that may not have been discussed during my presentation today that you are seeking clarification on. I will try my utmost best to respond, if not today. If I can't do it today, I'll be sure to provide you with a response. Are there any questions?
Let me take a look. I'm not seeing anything in Zoom. Let me check Facebook for questions.
Okay.
Okay, who can someone contact if they're having issues processing their bid, or if there's something that they don't understand on there?
The individuals, again, be guided by the RFP or the IFP that's solicited. It will have contact information therein, stating if you have any questions or concerns to contact this person at this email address, okay? And it's very important for you to be guided by the instructions and follow the instructions within that's posted in the IFP. You do not want your bid to be washed out, or not considered because you did not follow the instructions provided. So if you have any questions, just be guided by the contact information described in the IFP and the RFP.
Good day, parents. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the information valuable to understanding the VIDE's functions and beneficial to your ease of engagement with the Department of Education. You may access this information anytime by visiting vide.vi and clicking on the For Families tab. Thank you.